Hello and welcome to 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜 Serie A 35th match day with the fight between Milan and Inter. So let's analyze all the games, of course, with Danny and with you guys. Leave your comments, press the like and subscribe, and now let's go on with the show. So Danny, Inter didn't want to take the lead, eh? How are you?
Well, I'm all right, thank you. But yeah, in the end, the game in hand didn't count for nothing. A bit harsh for Inter to defeat the way it came, but I mean, that tells you that nobody really gives you anything these days in Serie A. So it's good. So that's it should be. And now it's in Milan's hand. 4 games. If they win them all, they win the Scudetto. If they win them all and if they draw one, they still win the Scudetto.
But still Inter are favorites. Now Milan are favorites according to the bookies.
Well, of course, it must be.
Pretty much the same, Let's start analyzing the games on Saturday. Cagliari, Verona, very important one, this one for the relegation. Cagliari 3 points more now than Salernitana and Genoa, so the Sardinian team need the points. The next game is actually against Salernitana. They have also to play against Venezia, so they have a lot of direct games, and they lost against Genoa. Danny, 1-0. Verona is a dangerous team, only 1 defeat in the last 5 games, even if they are on holidays.
Yeah, they are, and I was expecting them to win against Sampdoria, but they didn't. But still, they won 4 of the last 6 games with the opposition that have less points than them in the table. So they are normally good when they play against teams that are below them. They drew 2 of the last 3, 1-1 with Empoli, 1-1 with Sampdoria. Yes, they're on holiday. They can only finish 9th or 10th, but still a very positive season for Verona. High scoring team, second highest scorer or third highest scorer in the new year. So definitely improved. And it is a team that can score away, can score at home. They got a couple of players in double figures. Great season for Giovanni Simeone, a team that really attacks and press high. Depends what kind of motivation they have. Look, if they have the same motivation as Sassuolo, who went there and lost at Cagliari, they're going to struggle, because obviously Cagliari are going to fight for their life. And I think against Genoa, they were slightly unlucky. Maybe they should have had a penalty. 1-0 was a little bit harsh, but Cagliari have lost 6 of the last 7, and now the thing is that at home they haven't been that great either. They're looking for the second home wins in the first since April 2021. Verona, when they travel to Cagliari, they are normally okay. They've been unbeaten in the last 6 games against Cagliari, so that's why they should be slightly favorites. I think Verona are gonna be more attacking than perhaps what we saw Sassuolo a couple of weeks ago. Cagliari needs to go for it, also because if Salernitana wins the game in hand, then they're level on points, and Salernitana have a game in hand on the following Wednesday. Could be a goal fest, probably over 2.5 goals, which pays 201.
Probably also a goal fest. The next one, Napoli, Sassuolo, the Scudetto hopes are completely over after that crazy defeat against Empoli when they were leading 0-2 in the 18th minute. And Danny, is the history of always with Napoli. When they could touch silverware, they crumble. And I think there is kind of a turmoil, with De Laurentiis, the president, the manager.
Oh, yeah. Osimhen. Things change so much in a week, and I think Napoli, I think at the moment they got the points they deserve. They've been really good at the beginning of the season. Then they got issues with injuries. They recovered the key players like Ruiz, like Zambanguissa, like Osimhen, and they had few good games, but then the home form deserted them. And against Empoli, I don't think they were playing that good, and they were 2-0 up. Empoli had a few chances, but they managed to lose against a team that were not winning in 16 games. And actually Empoli have done the double over Napoli away and at home. So no wins in 3 for Napoli, and they face now the Champions League is pretty much safe, but the third place is not. So they need to be getting a few points, because otherwise Juventus is going to catch up with them. Not that really counts much, but it's more for pride than anything. And history repeats itself as well with Spalletti. It is a coach that normally gets less point in the second round of fixtures in the new year than what he does in the beginning of the season. Sassuolo also winless in 3 games. They lost 3 of the last 4. They have beaten Napoli last time they traveled to Napoli in November 2020. They were 2-0 winners, and we know that against top teams normally Sassuolo is a good value. Against Juventus, I think they didn't deserve to lose in the end. Probably the draw would have been a fairer result. Again, it could be a high scoring game, maybe both to score doesn't pay very well. Over 2.5 goals doesn't pay too much. Go for both to score in the second half, which pays 2.72.
And the next game is a derby, Sampdoria-Genoa, derby de la Lanterna, derby of fear, I would say. Sampdoria 5 points more than Genoa or Salernitana, but if they lose this one, they will be dragged into the relegation battle. They are in really poor form. Their calendar is tough, Danny. They have to play against Lazio, Fiorentina, or Inter, so be careful with the blue cerchiati. Whereas for Genoa, now they have hope after that victory against Cagliari.
They do. Only 5 points between the two, as you mentioned. So whoever wins this one, massive chances of getting saved. If Sampdoria wins or if they avoid losing, they're probably going to stay in Serie A for another year. 78th derby of the La Lanterna in Serie A. 30 wins for Sampdoria, 18 wins for Genoa, 29 draws in the history of this derby. But Genoa, underdog on this one, also because they only won one of the last 11 league games against Sampdoria. Genoa managed to get a win, won 2 of the last 3 games at the 𝐜𝐿𝐴 Ferraris, but before they've been 15 games without an away win, and this is an away game for them. But yes, of course, they collected more points at the 𝐜𝐿𝐴 Ferraris this season. 8 draws for Genoa in the new year, and this is the record in the 5 top major leagues in Europe. So a lot of draws, not many goals as well. Sampdoria, they bounced back at Verona. Maybe Verona weren't very motivated, but Sampdoria come on the back of a very, very poor form at home, lost the last 3 home games, and they never draw a game in 2022. So it's either a win or a defeat for Sampdoria. That's why I go for halftime draw, 2.15, because I think this is going to be, as you said, the derby of fear. Nobody can afford to lose it.
Exactly. They will be really, really scared of losing this game. Much more relaxed. Spezia, of course, they are comfortable. They've been safe, and they host Lazio, a team that they still have to fight to get into the Europa League, Danny, but they are not getting the results, especially at home, losing to Milan, drawing with Torino, and they have Fiorentina and Atalanta right behind.
They look really tired against Milan, Lazio, a team that really, they took the lead after 4 minutes with Immobile, but then after that, they disappeared. They left the initiative to Milan, and yes, they suffered a defeat in the very last minute, but I think it was what they deserve. Pretty comical defending as well for Lazio during the game. Strange, a step back for a team that had improved recently. And Spezia, they lost at Torino. They are not very good away. I think they got the worst away defense. But at home at the Stadio Picco, they are good because they always score. They always find to a goal. Sometimes against teams around them, they managed to win 1-0. Lazio won 4 out of 6 away games recently. Spezia 3 wins at home, 4 defeats. Normally Lazio wins against Spezia. They won all the last 7 league games against Spezia, scoring an average of 3.3 goals. So this could be a high scoring game, because I think, again, chances for teams to go for it. Spezia pretty much saved, so congratulations to them. I didn't think they were going to get saved this season. Both to score and over 2.5 goals, so for example 2-1, either way, pays very well, 3.36.
And a team that is not safe, of course, is Venezia, going to Serie B. To be honest, with the numbers in the hand, they still have options because they are playing direct rivals like Cagliari or Salernitana. The problem is that They've lost 8 games in a row, and probably the 9th one is going to be done in the Juventus Stadium.
Yeah, and if it's 9, it's going to be a negative record for them in Serie A. They never lost so many games in a row. They sacked the manager in the week, Paolo Zanetti, being replaced by the second in command. I don't think they're going to stay. Also because, they signed a few players in January, but they didn't work the signing. They haven't added much. So it is the same team that was struggling up to December, and they did pick up a few points at home in lucky circumstances. They shipped far too many goals, and now they come against a Juventus team that normally beats them. They won 10 out of 12 Serie A games against Venezia. I know the reverse fixtures was 1-1. It was a different Juve as well in the middle of the crisis. So normally Juventus score a lot of goals against Venezia, 2.4 goals average per game when these two teams meet. For Juventus are winless in the last two Serie A games at home. 1-1 against Bologna, deserve probably to lose. Lost 1-0 to Inter, deserve at least to draw. Against Sassuolo, a nothing game for them. In the end, they got more quality. They won the game, but it is a season that Juventus supporters just want to end, hopefully, with the Coppa Italia when they play Inter on the 11th of May, and just put to bed and focus on next season. I cannot see any problem for Juventus. It could be a high-scoring game here for Juventus. As an handicap, minus 0.75 in the first half for Juventus pays 189. That means if Juventus wins only 1-0 the first half, you win half your stake.
And the game of the games of this match day, Milan-Fiorentina, with Milan, as you mentioned at the beginning of the video, top of the table, thanks to that victory against Lazio and the defeat of Inter in the Dallara. Whereas for Fiorentina, Dani, they crumbled 0-4 in the middle of the week against Udinese, defeat against Salernitana. Both teams lost in the semifinals of the Coppa.
Yeah, if you don't know what's happening with Fiorentina, probably is a little bit of tiredness as well. If you look at the key players there, Torreira, Bonaventura, maybe they play far too many games. They look tired in those games. And against Udinese, a little bit unlucky because Udinese's keeper Silvestri made some big saves. But then Fiorentina were naive and got caught on the break. It is a bad moment for Fiorentina that they've not been scoring much. We said the goals have been less since Vlahovic was away, but they were able to supply with good plays the lack of Vlahovic. Now 2 defeats in a row for Fiorentina, and this is the first time it happens since October. And now Milan, who got the destiny in the hand, as we said, if they win them all, they win the Scudetto. Even if they draw one game, they will win the Scudetto. If Inter wins them all, they really deserve to win a Lazio. I think they were under so much pressure because Inter had played the day before. They knew they had to win. They find the goal in the end. They put on the pitch Ibrahimovic and Rebic, Messias and Leao were inspired. A very, very good win coming from behind. They are the best defense, Milan, also in this calendar year. Only 8 goals in 15 games. Only Liverpool have done better than them with 6 goals conceded. Milan have kept 3 consecutive home clean sheets. And, there's not been a draw between these two teams at San Siro since 2014. So normally one of the two teams wins, and normally it could be a high-scoring game. But Milan are gonna attacking more, are gonna have the ball more, I would imagine. Even if they will be behind, they will attack even more. For this reason, I think they're gonna be putting a lot of crosses in the box. I think they're gonna have more corners, Asian handicap corners, minus 1.5 for Milan. So only 2 more corners for Milan for you to win 193.
Milan-Fiorentina, top game. This is much more relaxed. Empoli-Torino. Empoli finally won a football game in 2022 with a lot of goals, as we mentioned, against Napoli. With Torino was also crazy, the game against Atalanta on Wednesday. 4-4, they are ending well the season, no defeats in the last 5. Dani, Empoli-Torino, 2 teams that are safe, relaxed in the middle of the table, and 2 teams that are free-flow scoring, goals.
And for this reason, normally Torino doesn't score many away. Actually, before the game at Bergamo, they were the second worst away attack, and they scored 4, 2 with Sasa Lukic. And normally Torino doesn't even concede that many chances. So you can tell that now they're playing a different game. They are more relaxed, they're trying more things. And so will be Empoli after that very important win against Napoli. Perhaps not fully deserved. Maybe a draw would have been more fair, but after 16 winless game, sometimes you are due a little bit of luck. Torino are the teams that have drawn, the second team that have drawn most games in the new year, only Genoa and more. Torino 7 draws in 2022. Empoli are all but safe. They just need 1 or 2 points, but they will be there because they did a very good beginning of the season. This is very, very difficult to bet on, so I found 2 bets that could be interesting for you. Over 2.5 goals, 189, or both to score, also is very good. But if you combine them together, you get 3.19. So if the game finishes 2-1 each way, or 3-0, you get, 2-1 each way, of course, because it's both to score, you get 3.19.
Okay, next one, and a key one as well, Udinese Inter, because if Inter wants to continue their chase to the Rossoneri, they have to win in Udine. Be careful. We know that Inter lost in the middle of the week against Bologna, but now Udinese, they are really in form. 0-4 against Fiorentina, draw 2-2 with Bologna, only 1 defeat in the last 6 games was against Salernitana. It won't be easy for Inter. This is a key game.
It is, and these are the 2 most informed teams in the month of April. Udinese 13 points in April, Inter 12 points. Inter played 1 game less and they lost in Bologna. They come on the back of very busy schedule because Udinese play midweek in Florence, they play midweek against Salernitana, Inter play midweek against Milan in the derby, so it could be understandable they were a little bit tired in Bologna. They started very well, they dominated for 25 minutes, and then they lost the way. They conceded a stupid goal. The second goal is comical from Radu. They were very nervy, very confused. I don't think it's like as bad as the Inter we saw in February, March, when they had a really dip in form, but you can tell that some players weren't as sharp, maybe Brozovic, Barella, because again they played a few extra games midweek. Last season finished 0-0, 2 seasons ago finished 0-0. I don't think this is going to finish 0-0, although Inter have kept 7 clean sheets in the last 8 games they played against Udinese. Udinese free scoring. They're playing freely. You can tell now with Deulofeu, with success inspired with Molina, despite not having Beto up front, who's the top scorer. They're doing very, very well. They score 4 or more in 3 of the last 6 games. Inter, are they going to be without Andanovic again? Is Radu going to have a second chance? I don't think so. They'll try to get everything to do to get Andanovic back. Maybe Bastoni. Udinese, we said, without Beto, without 𝐿𝐴𝐾𝐿, Inter have got a tendency of, when they win, settling in the games early. So they win in the first half and scoring a lot in the first half and maybe drop back a little bit in the second half. Over 1.25 goals in the first half. That means if there are 2 goals in the second half, in the first half, you win 2-14. If there's only 1 goal in the first half, you lose half your stake. If there's no goal in the first half, 0-0, you lose the entire stake. So over 1.25 goals in the first half.
All right, 2 more games. Roma-Bologna. This is a dangerous one for Roma because they are in the middle of their semifinals of the conference with Leicester. Their run of undefeated games came to an end against Inter, and Danny, because Bologna, even if they are safe, they are in really good form. No defeats in the last 5, playing against Inter, Milan and Juve.
Yeah, absolutely. They kicked on. I mean, since they are without Mihajlovic, who went back to hospital because of his illness. They seem to have found the energy they almost had lost. They must be galvanized by the fact that, the coach is not there, but he's such an inspiring figure for them. And yes, they deserved all the points they got so far. 13th goal in the league for Arnautovic. He's been scoring in 7 of the last 8. It's Barrow, the one is not scoring, but he provided the assist to Arnautovic. A little bit lagging maybe against Inter, but they stuck there. They work hard. and they deserve at least a point in the end. It was 3. Now, normally for Roma, this is a good fixture. So they've scored in 30 consecutive home games against Bologna in Serie A. So for 30 consecutive years, they always scored. And yes, you mentioned the Conference League. Let's see at the time we're recording, they are playing against Leicester. Let's see what happened in that game. But they only lost once in Serie A after playing in the Conference League this season, and that was in Venezia, 3-2, a very unlucky game for them as well. 4 wins, 2 draws after they played in the Europa League. Bologna away in the new year, only 3 points, but as you mentioned, 2 draws against Milan and Juventus, fully deserved, both to score, 193.
And the last game is on Monday, Atalanta Salernitana. Danny, are we gonna see the miracle of the season of the 2022? I think if Salernitana gets safe, amazing. 3 consecutive victories, Sampdoria, Udinese, Fiorentina, and they have an easy calendar. Venezia, Cagliari, Empoli, or Udinese are the next rivals. And Atalanta is very weak when they are playing at home. Of course, it's difficult to win in Bergamo, but perhaps we see the miracle of the century, Danny, with Salernitana.
Look, if Salernitana gets saved, I'll walk to Salerno. I don't know. I'll have to do something because I said they're gonna go down. So I'll have to be true to my word. I thought they were hopeless because they were conceding far too many goals. And yes, they had improved, but since Davide Nicola is there, they changed. They're much more resilient, and they won 3 games in a row for the first time in their history. They got a massive game in hand against Venezia. So perhaps this could be even of a bonus game, even if they don't get points here. If they win against Venezia on Wednesday, they are back in the fight. And you mentioned, the last 3 games are kind of easy because they play against teams that play for nothing. Now, Atalanta plays for a spot in Conference League / Europa League, which for them it is important because, dropping down from Europe from Atalanta after so many years will be difficult because they're under new management. They've been brought by an American investor. So, I don't think they want to completely disappear from the radar, but this has been an underwhelming season for Atalanta. We have not been scoring enough. 4-4 against Torino. We know always Atalanta concede at home. Their home record is so poor. I think they lost 7 or 8 games so far at home. They concede a lot of goals. They score, finally, Muriel scored 2 goals, provided 2 assists. They also had a goal from midfield with Verona. They got 5 midfielders, Atalanta, who score at least 3 goals. No teams in Europe in the top 5 leagues have got such a good record. So they got a lot of goals from midfield, but they haven't had goals from the forwards. But now, with Zapata back and Muriel back, I can see Gasperini always playing the 2 up front, always going with 2 strikers. Go all in, really. You have to win them all to hope to qualify for the Europa League or the Conference League. I don't know. I kind of fancy Salernitana scoring here, both to score 2-2.
Well, actually, Danny, I think Davide Nicola, when he saved Crotone, he went with the bike from Crotone to Torino. So perhaps he does something similar also with his...
From Salerno is a bit closer, but it would be amazing. If he saves them, it would be really the story of the year.
What a story with, of course, Frank Ribery in the squad. Danny, let's finish with your ACCA.
Okay, 5 games as always. Spezia, Lazio, both teams to score. Juventus to win the first half against Venezia. Milan and Fiorentina over 2.5 goals. Udinese, Inter, both to score. And Atalanta, Salernitana over 2.5 goals. The total odds for you are 16.11.
Perfect. Danny, thank you as always. What a final of the season we have in Italy. See you next week.
Ciao Edu, speak soon.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your comments and of course press the like and subscribe, or if you prefer as well, listen to our videos in our podcast. Bye bye.